Have you ever had like a business idea? One of those where you're like, wow, this could be huge, but then you think, oh, wait a minute, how am I going to pay for all this?
Yeah, it's like that next hurdle, right? You have the excitement, the passion, but then there's that very practical question of funding.
Exactly. And turning that vision into reality.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at today. How do you get the money to make it happen? We're diving into the world of fundraising and investment.
And we're going beyond the theory, right? We've got these incredible entrepreneur stories, real stories about how people actually secured funding for their businesses.
It's about going from, I have this great idea to, okay, I have a plan to make this idea a reality.
So we're going to look at different approaches, different paths to success. Some people started by investing their own money, others used crowdfunding. Some even found really unconventional ways to get the capital they needed.
They're talking big names too, like Elon Musk, Jessica Alba, the founders of BrewDog. Fascinating stories.
Exactly. So let's start with Elon Musk, right? I mean, everyone knows he took a huge chunk of the money from the PayPal sale and basically poured it into Tesla and SpaceX.
Yeah, talk about betting on yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
those were pretty risky ventures back then. Electric vehicles and private space travel, that was not a sure thing.
Not at all. It really shows the power of believing in your vision so much that you're willing to risk your own fortune on it.
Right. It's like that level of personal commitment, that initial leap of faith. It's almost inspiring in a way.
Absolutely. And that kind of commitment from the founder, it can make a big difference later on, even when they're looking for outside investment.
It shows they're serious, right? They're all.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a second and talk about Jessica Alba and the Honest Company.
Okay, so with Alba, it's a different story. It's less about that big initial self-investment and more about strategic partnerships and really careful fundraising.
And I think what's interesting there is she really focused on finding investors who shared her values right. The Honest Company is all about sustainability, ethical practices. So she wanted partners who believed in that mission.
Exactly. It's about alignment. Finding investors who are on the same page as you, who see the long-term vision, not just looking for a quick return.
So it's not just about getting the most money right. It's about finding the right investors who can really contribute to the company's growth.
Absolutely. And that's what makes a partnership strategic, right? They bring something extra to the table. Maybe it's expertise in a specific area. Maybe it's connections to important people. Maybe it's a shared understanding of the market.
So in Alba's case, finding investors who understood the market for natural products, that was probably key. And meticulous fundraising. What does that even look like?
I imagine it involved a lot of research, really digging into the backgrounds of potential investors, making sure their values aligned with the Honest Company's mission, and then crafting those pitches really carefully to highlight those shared goals.
So it's a lot more than just sending out a generic pitch deck. Okay, so we've talked about personal conviction and strategic partnerships. Now let's look at something completely different. BrewDog and their Equity for Punks crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, that was a pretty innovative approach. They basically said, hey, we've got these amazing customers who love our beer. Let's give them a chance to own a piece of the company.
And it worked. They raised a ton of money. And they created this incredibly loyal community of investors who were also their biggest fans.
Right. It's like they turned their customers into brand ambassadors, people who are literally invested in BrewDog's success.
So it wasn't just about the money. It was about building a community, a movement almost. So that's a great example of thinking outside the box when it comes to funding.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've seen these really different approaches to funding.
Yeah.
Now let's get practical. What are some key takeaways for entrepreneurs who are looking for investment? Our sources highlighted 5 essential tips.
Okay, let's hear them. So tip number 1, craft a compelling story. What does that mean exactly?
It's about more than just the numbers, right? Investors, especially early stage investors, they're investing in you, in your vision. You need to capture their attention and make them believe in what you're doing.
So it's about connecting with them emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
right? Making them feel the passion, the excitement behind the idea.
Yeah, you got to tell a story that resonates, that makes them say, wow, I want to be a part of this, and not just, oh, okay, here's another business plan. The numbers are important, but the story is what makes it real.
Got it. So tip number 2, know your numbers.
Hmm.
I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, but what does it really mean in practice?
It means understanding your financials inside and out. You need to be able to talk confidently about your revenue projections, your expenses, your growth strategy, everything. Investors need to see that you have a solid grasp of the numbers.
And so they're looking for that financial fluency, right?
Mm-hmm.
To know that you're not just winging it, that you have a plan and you know what you're doing.
Exactly. And are there certain things that investors look at right away, like maybe some red flags they're watching out for?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They'll look at things like, Your customer acquisition cost. So how much does it cost you to get a new customer? They'll also look at your burn rate, which is how fast you're spending your money. And of course, they want to see your projected profitability.
Right. So it's not just about having numbers, it's about knowing what those numbers mean and being able to explain them clearly. Okay, tip number 3, target the right investors.
And this goes back to what we were talking about before, right? It's not just about getting any money, it's about finding the right partners.
Exactly. There's a saying, not all money is good money. You want investors who are a good fit for your company, who share your vision, and can bring something valuable to the table.
So beyond the money, what else should entrepreneurs be looking for in their investors?
Think about expertise, connections, mentorship. You want investors who can be your advisors, who can open doors for you and guide you along the way. Their network can be just as valuable as their money.
So it's like finding mentors almost. People who have been there and done that and can help you avoid making the same mistakes.
Exactly. Okay. Tip number 4, build a solid network. This is important for all aspects of business, but especially for fundraising.
Right? Because you never know where that next opportunity is going to come from. So how do you actually build a network that can help with fundraising?
It's about putting yourself out there, attending industry events, joining online communities, talking to people, even if you're not actively raising money right now, just building those relationships.
So it's about being present in the right spaces,
Right.
making connections and staying top of mind.
Yeah, exactly. You never know when a casual conversation might lead to an introduction to the perfect investor. And tip number 5, leverage technology.
Okay, this is the big one these days, right? How can entrepreneurs use technology to their advantage when it comes to funding?
There are so many tools available now. We've already mentioned crowdfunding platforms like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but there are also platforms that connect startups with angel investors and VCs.
So it's about expanding your reach,
Right.
not just relying on traditional methods of fundraising.
Exactly. You can use technology to connect with potential investors from all over the world. Okay, so we've covered the 5 essential tips. Now let's talk about some more outside-the-box funding strategies.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What have you got?
So the first one is investor brand collaboration. This is where the investor becomes more than just a financial backer. They become an active partner in the business.
So there's like a deeper level of involvement, right? They're not just writing a check, they're rolling up their sleeves and helping to build the company.
Exactly. It could involve things like collaborating on marketing campaigns, leveraging the investor's network to open up new distribution channels, even directly contributing their expertise to help the business scale.
So it's almost like blurring the lines between investor and team member. And what's the second outside the box strategy?
It's called customer-powered funding. We saw this with Brewdog, but there are other ways to do it too, like pre-order models where customers pay for a product before it's even made.
Ah, so you're essentially getting your customers to fund your production. That's pretty clever.
Right. And it's a great way to validate your idea too. If people are willing to pre-order your product, it shows that there's real demand for what you're offering.
So taking a step back, it seems like funding a business is about so much more than just getting money. It's about telling a story, building relationships, thinking creatively.
Exactly. It's about finding the right people, the right partners, the right fuel to power your vision.
So for you, the listener, as you're working on your own business ideas, we hope these insights have been helpful. Think about the different approaches we've discussed. The unwavering self-belief of Elon Musk, the strategic partnerships of Jessica Alba, the community-driven model of Brewdog.
And here's a question for you to consider. Which of these strategies resonates with you the most? What kind of relationships would best support your vision? As you move forward on your entrepreneurial journey, keep those questions in mind.
Because ultimately, it's about finding the right path for you, the one that will help you bring your ideas to life.
Exactly. And remember, funding is just one piece of the puzzle. It's an important piece, but it's not the only one.
So keep learning, keep exploring, keep building, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself and your vision.
And we'll be here to help you along the way with more insights, more stories, and more inspiration.
Until next time, keep innovating.
And keep dreaming big.